So regarding number of hours, let me use my personal example because I think people can relate more to what I have done or what has been my journey. So this particular, first of all, I have always been involved in some regular college. When I was preparing in the first 2 attempts or third attempt, I was enrolled in Delhi School of Economics, which itself is a very rigorous course of Masters in Economics. So I was involved there. But more than that, this particular attempt in which I have got a decent rank, I was training in Shimla in National Academy of Audit and Accounts. So my days, the weekdays used to be like this. 9:30 to 5:30 I will have a training in the academy, and trust me, it's very rigorous, so you cannot do anything apart from what is being taught to you in that period in the academy. After that, being a sports enthusiast and being how my life has shaped, I've generally not been able to follow up. So I generally used to play tennis for an hour or so after that. So the time when I will start my mains preparation will be around 7 o'clock in the evening, and then I'll finish it off around 12 o'clock, including dinners and snacks and whatever I can have. So not the fact, and I'll have more time during weekdays obviously, but I'm not trying to highlight that 5 hours are sufficient or 4 hours are sufficient. But what I'm trying to tell you is everybody has a different pace of learning. So everybody has to understand their own pace of learning. So even if you are able to grasp the things well in 4 hours, that's sufficient for you. May not be sufficient for some other person, right? So the number of hours that you need to give for preparing for this particular paper has to be your own determination or own assessment of yourself, and that is how you have to come at a particular number of how much time you need to devolve. It may not be the same every day also. Some days you probably want to relax a little, you may give yourself lesser number of hours. Other days you want to give yourself more number of hours. So it works that way as long as you are able to complete your syllabus and you are able to confidently tell yourself that you have done whatever you could with the time that was given to you during preparation for the mains. Again, let me use my personal example to highlight whether social life is important or not. And there's a purpose behind why I used to do all these things. So, for example, during the preparation stage, I was always active on Facebook and Instagram. So, because those are the primary social life deterrent that generally people will see, right? And those are highlighted also. And I also used to have a very active social life with my friends. I used to go and meet them and hang out with them and party with them at times. So, I'm highlighting this only because of the fact, because if you look at the paper and the journey and the questions that are generally asked in UPSC, those are related to awareness. Let me use an example. A few years back, I think 2016, there was a question which was asked, which asked that, can you name the man on whom the movie is made, The Man Who Knew Infinity? This was the question which was asked in prelims. So, for example, if you are not aware, you have totally cut yourself away from all the social life that you can have. How exactly are you supposed to know this answer, right? So, UPSC is also hinting in that sense that you have to be aware about your surroundings, because the whole job of a civil servant is related to being aware about what is happening around him, right? And how you can correct or improve or work things out, right? So, first of all, that is what UPSC demands, that is what the job demands, so you have to be aware. But having said that, it's also important to you, because these mediums which I have just highlighted, they can be distracting as well. So you have to be very selective and very careful in using them constructively. I was generally able to use them constructively by following news websites and other motivational channels, which were generally helpful to me whenever, because these are there are ups and downs during this whole journey. So this whenever you come across something like that, it will generally boost you up and give you more confidence and make you more aware. So you have to be very cautious in utilizing these mechanisms in a positive manner. But also it is very important, you have to understand also that UPSC is also looking for somebody who is generally more aware about things around him and happenings around him or her. I was never able to complete the whole syllabus before I actually went into writing the exam. That doesn't happen simply because there is no defined syllabus of the exam, more or less, except the static part. So for this particular myth of UPSC, it is important to cover your static part syllabus. That much I agree, because one, questions are asked out of it. Two, it gives you confidence. But apart from that, whatever general happenings are there around the world, across the globe, if you have a brief idea about what all things are happening and you are not absolutely aware about each and everything, you're fine. Because that is what a normal person does, and that is what a normal person is expected to do, and that is what also UPSC expects you to do. I don't think coaching is a prerequisite for succeeding in this exam. That is not why coaching is important. But coaching is, if you can afford the coaching, if you are able to go for a coaching or opt for a coaching, it generally helps you to give a good direction in the sense ki these are the particular topics you have to look into, and it generally tells you how to and where to stop in a particular topic, because the kind of world that we live in, there is no end to information that is available around you, right? So if you are able to opt for a particular institution which tells you that this is the particular way and this is the particular time that you have to stop and the topic that you have to stop, it generally saves your time and gives you a better idea. Having said that, if any other person is able to guide you or tell you that this is the way you have to prepare for this exam, that's more than equivalent to an institution. You may not actually opt for an institution as long as you're able to get hold of the material and the guidance and the direction that is needed to prepare for this exam. I personally think newspaper reading is essential for clearing this exam at all the stages, all 3 stages of the exam, but not 2 or 3 newspapers. Generally choose one. If my opinion is asked, Hindu and the Indian Express are generally considered good sources of information for current affairs preparation generally for this exam. You can choose either of those, and if you are able to generally cover one of those newspapers in a particular day, you are fine. You are generally okay with the topics that have to be covered. But what happens generally is that not all topics are covered in the newspaper, so it may be a good idea to get hold of other sources of information, other websites like PIB or some other good source of information which you think is organic and has good content. So just to supplement the topics which are not probably covered because of lack of space in the newspaper, it may be a good idea to use that source as well. No, actually the number of years that you take in preparing for this exam depends on you as such. It is not, there is no standard, there is no gold standard of the number of years that you will take. People clear in the first attempt also, second also, third also. I cleared in the second and I again cleared in the fourth. So it depends from person to person. It varies from person to person. A lot depends on how serious you are, how dedicated you are. Are you on the right direction in the first attempt itself? Are you in touch with the right people who are able to guide you to attain success in the first attempt itself? So generally, content-wise, 1 year is enough. But direction-wise, focus-wise, motivation-wise, depends on person. Personally, yes, I failed twice. But it is one of the difficult aspects of the paper just because of the fact it demands a lot in terms of remembering the facts and the nuances that are covered in a particular topic or scheme or issue which is involved around you. So just because of that, it's a little on the difficult side for me, being a humanities student. But it's not that it because now we can observe that the UPSC is also moving towards understanding and interpretation even in the prelims papers. So it's moving towards having that understanding rather than remembering the facts. No, I don't think so. UPSC has a bias towards urban or affluent youth as such, simply because the members or the people who are involved in this whole journey, from making the paper to conducting the interviews, everything and anything, they are much more aware about your belongings, your background, and then they deal with you in that sense itself. So as long as you are able to modify and mold yourself and express yourself well in terms of words also and in terms of your expressions also, you are fine, and you are generally able to get marks as well as in all the stages of the exam. Not at all, especially in current times, no, because of so much material is available online, free of cost, or at a very minimal cost. So it's no longer a rich person's exams. Earlier, maybe when there was hardly any alternative available to coachings and all that, but not anymore. I am not an engineer. I am an economist. So no, it is not true that only engineers can crack the exam. Anybody and everybody who can pay that much attention, focus, and relate to that journey of UPSC can crack this exam. And in fact, increasingly we are observing that a lot of optionals that are there related to humanities. A lot of people who clear are doctors or art students, history students, pol science students. So those people are also increasingly becoming more aware, and they are also understanding, because the myth is getting broken down that only engineers can crack this exam. Luck is somewhat important, not very important, because I believe that you need the stars to be aligned in the right direction for you to crack this exam, but they cannot be a supplement for your hard work and your smart work. So you have to be very consistent, and you have to be very patient throughout this journey, and then a little bit of luck can just give you a slight nudge to make sure that you are at the right position where you expect yourself to be. So personally, I generally made an effort to attempt more than 90 questions in the prelims exam. But I also know a lot of people who attempt 75 questions and have a better success rate than I have. The point is that you have to judge the number of questions by the accuracy percentage that you have in attempting the exam. So if you have a general accuracy of about 80% odd, then you are okay with attempting less number of questions. If you have a lesser percentage of accuracy, you generally should attempt a little bit more towards 90s. So this is how you have to decide on your own accuracy percentage and your own experience.